Hey there, welcome. I'm James Snow and welcome to Snow Woodworks. So what I thought we would do with this first video would be to kind of show you the type of work that we do and give a shop tour. Welcome and let's get started. So originally what happened with the shop when I first set up the shop about 20 years ago was this is just a 2.5 car detached garage, or it was, until we added on to the house and it became attached to the house, and then it's gotten bigger over time. But when we started out, this was the whole cabinet shop. We ran a full-time cabinet business out of just this 2.5 car garage, and it's kind of grown and morphed over the years as we've added tools and added things that we do. We're a full-service woodworking shop, so we do all kinds of stuff, whatever our clients need. We are a full-service cabinet shop. We can do anything from built-ins to vanities to full kitchens to full houses worth of cabinets, and we have done that over the past 20 years. In addition to that, we also specialize in different types of furniture and interior woodwork. So some of the stuff we do here, one of my big influences and main styles that I work in is the arts and craft movement, and specifically green and green. So you'll see a few things here that I've been working on. So this style of chair is very reminiscent of the green and green style. You see the ebony pegs, the African mahogany, the cloud lifts, all of that type of detail. We also have a contract with a company called Old California Lighting, and we are their carpenters and do all of their wood antique lighting for them. All of this stuff is the various type of green and green lighting that we work with. While we're right here in the center of the shop is where we have the workbench. So my workbench here, 4x4s, plywood top, real basic, but I've got a laminate here on top because glue doesn't stick to it. And then in this portion of the bench here, I've got some dog holes and stuff to be able to maximize the type of clamping and stuff that I can do on the bench for putting together jigs, fixtures, putting together furniture, cabinets, whatever the case may be. I have that option here available. So on the left here, we've got our job board where we can keep track of what we're doing. Below that, just some storage for CNC'd out, some holders to kind of keep together the calipers, my mallets, and some of the smaller tools. As we come across, I've got my wall with chisels, T-squares, squares, different type of measuring devices, so that they're always in one place and I know where they're at, as long as I remember where to put them back. Got a couple extra tape measures because you can never have enough of those because they seem to disappear on their own, which if you've done this for any length of time, you probably have 25 tapes and you only know where about 4 of them are. So as we move around the shop, of course we've got our obligatory cabinet here that has just, it's kind of the catch-all when we've got paints, stains, all the different types of things that to kind of just always need a place. And you know, had a cabinet job where this cabinet was made wrong, so when I got home I just hung it on the wall, and that's the way things kind of work. So we pan around to the right and we get to the wall that has our chop saw on it. So got our Festool Capex chop saw here, Festool vacuum underneath that's hooked up to it, so that's kind of on its own thing. I do have central dust collection for most of the other stuff, but the chop saw is on its own vacuum down here. So again, just cabinetry around it. Got our finishing stuff. If there's any of you out there that are guitar players and have these in your house, the little hangers that you hang your guitars on, double great for hanging up your spray guns. So if you got any spare of those laying around, that's another use for them. So we've got our spray stuff, stains, Rubio Monocoat, our lacquers up here, gloves. So it's kind of just smaller stuff that we need to know where it is and have a place to put it away. So that's what this area here is. Got some beautiful artwork from my granddaughter behind the Capex, so when I'm in there chopping stuff up, can always see her work. So also in this area here, we've got the joiner. Got my Grizzly joiner here. It's hooked up to the central dust collection, so for flattening and straightening our wood. Most of the lumber I order rough so that I can be in control over making sure that everything's flat and has the straight edge on it. So We do all that here in shop by just ordering it and have it delivered rough. So as we move around, like I said, for the past 20 years we've run a full-time cabinet shop. So my Craig pocket hole machine here has been a world of difference. So if you have one of the little manual ones that you do with the drill over and over, those are great. But if you're going to do any type of production work, I can't recommend this machine more. Like I said, it's been going strong for 20 years, never had any issues with it at all. I know Castle makes a good one, but if you're going to be doing a ton of pocket holes, a pocket hole machine is the way to go. So this has been a real boon to the shop. So right here we have my portable Moxon vise, so I can pull this off, take it over, clamp it down to the workbench, and be able to get plenty of vicing grip. Again, got some dog holes on top of this for clamping different things. As we continue to move around, over in this corner I have my jig wall. So with the green and green stuff, there's a lot of patterns that you need to be able to repeat and have them accurately be repeated. So I have all these jigs that are made already. So if I have a certain piece that I need, I can just pull down the jig. It's got the clamps on it. We just clamp it down, run it through the router with the pattern bit. I'm sure we'll have some videos showing that stuff as we go along throughout the process. So that's why those are all set up that way. Again, as we continue around, we've got our drum sander here. Got the Supermax 1938 drum sander. Again, super helpful for flattening woods out after we run them through the joiner and the planer. On the wall behind that, got some more jigs, and then got our battery charging station for our batteries, our drill station for storing all our drills, and some of the other stuff there. Again, the catch-all rack. This is for my cut-offs of wood, different pieces of wood and stuff that get cut off, some of the extra lights that we have and pieces for lights store on here. A lot of the lights that we do have smaller pieces, so a lot of this smaller lumber and stuff that we have gets used up, even though it may look like a small piece and it's not good for anything. This is actually posts for lights or rails, so a lot of this smaller stuff that we have is going to get used up in our processing of the lights. Off to my left here, to your right, this is my second table saw. So right here behind it, you'll see I have the saw stop. One of my buddies about a year ago or so told me that he didn't need his anymore, so I bought that off of him. I've had this Grizzly saw for close to 25 years now, and it's still going strong as well. So I've made this a dedicated cross-cut saw. So for cross-cutting stuff with this cross-cutting sled, as well as making my dados and stuff, I'll use this saw for that. And then all of my primary ripping is done on the saw stop. So we have the primary saw there for that, and then we have this table saw here for our cross-cutting and our dados. So continuing on, we're back to kind of where we started the initial video. So on this wall we have the multi-router. So basically what this is a router that will, there's a router mounted in the back here. You can control your XY axis, and this is what I do all of my mortise and tenon stuff on. It does a superior job of making mortises. The table will angle up and down, so you can do angled mortises for like the chair with the angled mortise and tenons. It makes everything really, really fast and easy. So this has been a real help in the shop as well. I believe Woodpeckers owns the patent now and selling these, so like any other woodpecker tool, they're not exactly cheap, but if you're doing a ton of mortise and tenon work, there's nothing like it. On the wall up behind here, actually some hand saws that were my grandpa's that he handed down to my dad, who then handed them down to me. So those are early 1900s, early to mid 1900s they were handed down. So come around, we've got our polisher for when we're doing the ebony plugs and the ebony splines and our green and green stuff. Those don't get finished, they actually get sanded and then polished on the buffing wheel here, and it buffs them to a real high polish and sheen so that they're real shiny. Ebony's a super hard wood, so that when you polish it, it comes out super glossy. So that's what we use this for. I've got a small hollow chisel mortiser here for just if one-off, two-off stuff. If I've got to make some mortises, or for our ebony plugs, if there's just like one or two lights that I've got to do, instead of setting up the CNC or drilling them by hand and tapping the mortises that way, I'll just do it here on the hollow chisel mortiser. Behind us, again, just the catch-all cabinet. Everyone's got one of those in their shop. Toolbox with miscellaneous tools, screwdrivers, just like probably every other garage in the world. As we pan over past the opening, kind of getting back to where we started with the first wall. So we've got the planer here. Again, another grizzly tool. I've been really happy with all the grizzly tools I purchased. So my grizzly planer here, it's a 15-inch planer. And then we've got our edge sander here. So flattening stuff, making sure stuff is flat and square. And then I've got my disc sander here with the spindle sander and various jigs and stuff here for doing our ebony plugs and plug stock, which we'll have a video about coming up. And then, you know, when I do certain things that have angles to them to clean up your 45 where your miter is going to meet, I made this jig here. Again, with the spindle sander going, you can just touch it in. It's going to make a dead 45 when you put your pieces together. That miter comes together super tight. So as we're going to walk into the other shop, got to point out one of the most important things here is my granddaughter's workbench. This is where all the real work gets done. She's the real shop foreman. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see some pictures with her where she's out here, got the headphones on, and she's pulling wood off of the planer and putting it on the cart. And 6 years old and is already out here outworking me. So this is her bench here. She spends a lot of time at it, so it's an important part of the shop. So as we move through here, you'll see the walls here is where we've got all our clamp storage. So we've got some smaller F clamps here. We've got our pipe clamps over on this side. And then back on this side, we have more of our pipe clamps, and we've got our parallel clamps mounted on this wall. Like any other woodworker, you can never have enough clamps. Coming on in. So this area here used to be originally part of the backyard. I originally built this to be kind of a hot rod shop, and then my band was playing more than I was working on my 49 Pontiac, so it became a rehearsal studio and recording studio. And then when I continued to buy tools and the woodworking took off, it became part of the wood shop. So where you're standing, there used to be a wall walling off from where the camera is to where I am now. So we opened up that wall and moved the shop into here. And in doing so, been able to create some more space and add some new tools. So on my right here, your left, this is my second CNC. My first CNC was a Shapeoko Carbide Create bench top entry level CNC. As I got familiar with that and started doing more stuff for the lighting company, I needed a machine that was more accurate, more repeatable, more heavy duty. So I bought this Axiom. It's a 2 foot by 4 foot Axiom, and it's been bulletproof. It's done everything I've asked it to do. I've had it for a couple years and I've never had a single issue with it. It is a great, great machine. The only limitations to it are size. It's a 2 foot by 4 foot size machine. We're starting to do more cabinetry again, so I wanted to get a bigger machine. So this machine's going to stay. It's going to be used for mainly lighting type stuff. Some other stuff that my daughter's going to be doing with Etsy and smaller furniture and breakdown stuff that we can sell, and it's going to stay busy. The dust collection here runs through the whole shop. It runs back into that shop as well. The table saws, the edge sander, the planer, the joiner are all on the central dust collection. So it comes all through here and then it goes out the wall there. Put the dust collector and the compressor on the outside wall a couple weeks ago when we were looking at having the new CNC brought in. So to create some space and try and cut down on some of the noise in the shop, we moved the dust collector and the compressor outside. So as we come around this wall, You'll see next to the CNC here, again, little rack that I CNC'd out to keep all of the bits, wrenches, collets, all of the type of things you're going to need for the CNC so that they're all in one space. Right next to it I have my router table. So in that little holder also is the collars for the router table for the different size bits. You can change the collar out. That's my Jessam router table. It's also been a great addition to the shop. Used to have a second router table, but with the CNCs, the one router table is enough. So moving on from that, of course, we have the big new addition to the shop. We have our Laguna CNC. It's a Laguna Smart Shop Maker Edition. It's a full 4x8 table with a vacuum 4-zone vacuum system, and it has the 8-tool auto changer. So that's really kind of going to change the game in the shop here, because that's going to allow just much more accuracy and efficiency in the shop. With the Axiom, anytime you had to change a bit, you had to change the bit, reset your 0, which isn't a huge deal, but when you're talking about doing a lot of stuff during the day, it's time consuming. So being able to have the machine with the automatic tool changer where everything can be zeroed and then hit the button and let it go is really going to save time in the shop here. So here's the controller for that, and then we've got the CNC here, again hooked up to the central dust collection. As we come back, again we've got just more storage. So I've got all of my Festool stuff here, all of the sustainers with my Domino XL. Some of the other tools we'll be talking about in different videos. And so as we come back into this corner of the shop, this is what was originally the control room to the recording studio. It's now the office where I do up drawings for cabinet jobs, sketches for furniture, or whatever the case may be. This is kind of the area that does that. I guess it's kind of like the mini man cave within the shop. So I use Mosaic software for our cabinet stuff, real user-friendly, export straight to G-code. So if you're doing anything on the CNC, the Mosaic's a really good program. All right, so as we come out of the office and head back this way, got our Grizzly bandsaw here. Next to it, got our drill press, and then on this wall here, we've got our lumber rack. Got all of our 8 to 9 foot lumber on the rack, all of our sheet goods below it, and then on this wall here we've got all of our taller stuff that doesn't fit on the rack, so it all goes right here. Like I said, we order our lumber rough sawn. A lot of the rough sawn stuff comes in longer lengths, 12 to 16 feet. So some of the stuff cut down to 8 feet to get on there, and then the other stuff's here. The gamut of our woodworking really, like I said, runs the spectrum from built-ins, furniture, house woodworking. We've done custom baseboards, casings, moldings, trim work. So we're kind of all over the board. We don't really specialize in one thing. So there will be a lot of variety in our channel, a lot of different things that we'll be talking about. Like I said, down in the comments below, make sure you tell us if there's certain things that you would like to see. If it's something that we do or something that I know a little bit about, be more than happy to do a video on it. And if it's something I don't know about, then it might be something to research and be fun to do a video where I learn about it as well as when we're talking about it. So please like and subscribe. Thank you for checking out the channel. Thank you for watching this video to the end. We really appreciate it. Click and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.